Hello. For my assignment today, I chose to read the New York Times article on debunking myths entitled "Are You a Visual or an Auditory Learner? It Doesn't Matter." In the article, Daniel Willingham suggested that there is no good scientific evidence that learning styles actually exist. And he actually made a pretty solid and convincing argument using a number of experiments and examples to prove or to disprove that learning styles related to visual and auditory learning actually don't exist. The first experiment that he mentions uh, tested the visual auditory theory and allowed researchers to determine subject styles by asking them about their mental strategies. So apparently the auditory learners should have remembered statements better if they focused on the sound rather than if they created visual images. And visual learners should have shown the opposite pattern. But according to Willingham, this didn't happen. The tests have shown that the subjects didn't learn the task any faster because they adhered to their purported style. So the suggestion to debunking this myth is to try transforming the task to match your style, transforming your thinking to match the task. Second, don't let your style become a self-fulfilling prophecy or failure as an excuse for resignation. The next part of this assignment, I chose to read the paper Neuroscience for Educators. What are they thinking? What are they finding? And I found one of the statements by John Brewer to be very interesting. He argued that the path from neuroscience to education is a bridge too far. He stated that this knowledge cannot provide much guidance for educational policy, classroom practice, or early childhood education. There is a gaping chasm between our understanding of what happens to synapses as a result of experience and what happens or should happen in preschool or third grade. As I continued reading, I learned that learning and neuroscience research has affirmed educators' beliefs and what makes for good educational practice, and being able to relate the teaching practice to a larger scientific picture of the brain has given educators a greater sense of confidence. And according to this paper and reading through it, many educators have expressed the belief that teachers should, in fact, be learning about neuroscience because they are in the business of shaping brains. Many educators have noted that familiarity with neuroscience has empowered them to make more informed choices in the area of brain-based teaching methods. And the final part that I got from reading the paper that I gleaned is that teachers find learning about this research to be interesting and exciting, and it helps them to feel more excited about their role as a teacher. So, from what I've gathered from reading teachers' impressions and statements and interviews, is that John Brewer was completely wrong in his statement at the beginning of this paper. I think he was very misinformed to say that there's a huge bridge between neuroscience and education. Perhaps at the time that he wrote that, that was true, but as time has progressed, my thoughts are that teachers are making that gap bridge much smaller and narrower. And my focus in this class has been on looking at adolescence and how adolescents' brains are very different. And I found that by learning more and reading more about neuroscience has helped to understand better that the reasons why adolescents behave the way they do erratically, and that learning more about neuroscience and adolescent behavior can create more informed teaching and help to improve my teaching practice as a high school social studies and history teacher. So that's my assignment. Have a great day. Bye bye.